Good day everyone, welcome again to my channel. For this video, we'll be going to perform the fourth activity of the relays module. And this activity will be adding a holding contact. So, let's start. Click the relays module and then click the fourth activity of the relays, which is entitled holding alternating lamps. Click play. So, let's explain first on how the circuit works on this electrical diagram here. So, assuming without this PB1 and this R1 or normally open contact, this one, if we press the PB2, the relay 1 or the R1 will be energized state, this one. And this one, the normally open contact, will be closed and the PL3 will turn on. And this one, the normally closed contact, will be open and then the PL2 will turn off. But if you release the PB2, the R1 will be the energized state and PL3 will turn off and then the PL2 will turn on. However, what we want to do here is if we press and release the PB2, this R1 will remain in its energized state and this PL3 remain turned on and this PL2 will remain turned off. So, if we want to de-energize the R1 or relay 1 and turn off the PL3, we must click or release the PB1. So this R1, which indicate a holding contact, this one. So how it works? If you press this PB2, this one, the current now will now be able to flow through this first line or rung here. So from PB1, then press the PB2 and then this R1 will be in its energized state. So it is energized state, all the normally open contact in the circuit will be closed and all the normally closed contact will be open. So this R1 or normally open contact will be closed, this one, or normally open contact, this one will be closed, and this one, the normally closed contact will be open. So let's see how this R1 will be closed, this one. So if we press and hold the PB2, the R1 will energize this one, but before we proceed, there are two ways for the current to flow. It can flow through this path here or it can flow through this path or way here. Because the moment we hold the PB2, this R1 below, this one is already closed. As a result, the current can flow through this path or way here. If we release the PB2, the current can still be able to flow through this path here because it is a holding path. So that is how the relay remains its energized state. So if we want to de-energize this R1, we must to interrupt the current connection through this holding path by pressing this PB1 or push button number 1. Since this push button number 1 or PB1 is a normally close push button, just release the PB1 which result an open line. That's why the current cannot flow through this line. And as a result, this R1 will be the energized state. And then this R1 will return to its original state, which is normally open. So we'll start wiring in order for us to visualize how this circuit works. So let's connect the wire now. So 24 volts to the input of PB1. And then the output of PB1 connected to the input of PB2. Then the output of PB2 to the 13th ohm relay. 13 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 ohm relay. So this 13 and 14 is a coil of this R1 or relay 1. So the 14 of relay to the negative part or 0 volts of the power supply. So 14 of relay to negative part or 0 volts of the power supply. So next, this holding contact. So 9 and 5. So this 9 should be connected to the input of PB2. So 9 to the input of PB2. Next, the 5 to the output of PB2. So next, so this 10. So this 10 have two options for connection. Either connect to the power supply positive or connect to the input of PB1. But for this moment, we connect it to the input of PB1. Before we proceed, as we can see in the equivalent diagram here, the 10 and 6 is a normally open contact. So 10 to the input of P1. So so then 6 to the input of PL3. Then and then next, the output of PL3 can be connected either to the 14 amp relay or the 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. So we connect it to the negative part of the power supply. Output of PL3 to the negative part of the power supply. So next, the last rung or the fourth rung. So 10 is already connected, which represent a single component. So we connect only the 2 to the input of PL2. So 2 to the input of PL2. Then the output of PL2 to the output of PL3. So seems our connections correct. So the moment we click the submit button and when the simulation starts, this PL2 will turn on this one, and then this PL3 will turn off. Then this R1 or relay 1 is in the energized state. So click the submit button now. So pass means our connection correct. So click or press the PB2 or push button number 2. So as a result, or as you can see, the PL3 will turn on and then the R1 or relay 1 will energize state, although I already released the PB2 push button, the R1 remain its energized state and then the PL3 remain turned on. So click now the PB1. As we can see, the PL3 is turned off, then the R1 is the energized state, and then the PL2 is turned on. So this is our initial state. So we will click again the PB2. So the PL3 is now turned on, then the relay 1 is energized state, and then the PL2 is now turned off. So I'm going to release the PB2 or push button number 2. So the PL3 is remain turned on and then the R1 remain its energized state. So that is how holding contact works. So that's it. Thank you for watching and God bless.